Today I'm going to start a acrylic painting on paper. It is Strathmore mixed media paper. It's pretty much, I'm loyal to that brand. It's pretty much the only one that I will use because I know what it does and I know how it lasts. So I'm just gonna start and see what happens. I may or may not talk very much, but we'll see. I've sharpened a Stabilo All Aquarellable is what it says on it, but it's the best. I started buying these in bulk now. So on my palette I have a bunch of blues. I have Liquitex Soft Body, I have Golden Soft Body, I have Liquitex Basic, I have a bunch of different blues. And I'm not sure why I'm feeling like I should paint in blue today, but that's what I'm thinking. I'm gonna move in a little bit and I'm gonna let you see what I'm doing here. Okay, so I'm writing with my left hand with this pencil, which is my non-dominant hand. And I'm just kind of toying around with some line work and mark making. Now for me, mark making is an interesting thing because I've been a doodler forever, but I'm kind of in a phase where my mark making is in an uptick again right now. There for a while I was just painting a picture and didn't have much mark making, but now I'm back to that again. I don't know what drives my brain to make the next move. However, it is interesting. So, all right, I don't know what that is. But again, if you use your non-dominant hand, you end up making some pretty interesting little marks. Now this pencil is water soluble, which means the next thing that happens, you're gonna see, I'm gonna touch this with a damp brush, and you're gonna see that it kind of moves the the landscape a little bit. Now some of these marks will be visible at the end of the video and the end of the painting, and some of them will not be. Right now I'm trying to squeeze out some white. I'm currently, oh gosh, almost out of gesso, so I'm using an awful lot of titanium white. Okay, so I've had these marks on this page, which regular, right out of the gate, normal person is going to say, what the heck? So I'm going to take a damp brush, and it's pretty wet, and I'm going to get some of the titanium white on it, and this brush has been in water, and this water is not clean, so I'm not going to get too worried about that. These marks are beginning marks, and if I push the brush down, it's going to, some of the water is going to come out, it's going to, you know, run and make drips, and drips are fun. But you see how that moves? That is what a water-soluble writing instrument will do. If you want those marks to stay where they are, you would probably use a China marker to make those marks, or some sort of a permanent non-water-soluble writing utensil of some sort. All right. So there we have, it looks like a dinosaur. I'm trying really hard not to see things in my work, but it's hard. the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a tiny piece of a Derwent ink tints block, and boy do I need a new set of those. I'm just gonna scribble in some blue here. And let's see what happens next. Okay. I want you to be able to see the whole page, so that's a little bit better. Another color. Got a little green in it. It's more like a teal. Okay, so there's a little bit of, and those are water soluble as well. So this is where it gets real good. So I'm gonna get my brush wet, and I'm gonna see what happens there. It turns a different color a little bit, kind of intensifies the color, and kind of makes some delicious smeary marks. It's kind of mixed with the black a little bit. I'm still just pushing color around. I'm not really, I'm not planning something with my next move. I get really into my painting and I forget to change brushes. So now I'm just giving myself permission to that brush is annoying me. The one I'm using right now is actually, it was sold in a pack for watercolor. And come to find out, that really doesn't matter. This is not watercolor. And the brush is being inducted into the Acrylic Hall of Fame. Okay. All right, so I feel like I need some water, but I have some things down here on my tray right below my hand, which will melt if water hits them, so I'm covering it up with a rag. Hey. Ooh, there we go. A little bit of water. Oops. Whoa, that's pretty. Wow. That's pretty. Okay. Gonna slow it down a little bit, do some lines. I'm pushing pretty hard with this brush when I do that, when you hear that scrubbing sound. I'm pushing pretty hard. It doesn't ruin the paper. This paper may kind of bend like forward while I'm working on it, but it stays really flat. It doesn't buckle and ripple and then stay buckled. In fact, I ship some of these paintings now rolled up, and as soon as they arrive, I just tell the buyer to lay them flat for a few days, and they straighten right out. So it's really, I don't know why I always make that messy kind of spot. It always feels good to do. Maybe that's why I do it. So, I'm feeling like the blue is good. I like the blue, otherwise I wouldn't be using the blue. But I want to bring in another color. I'm way over here to the edge, and then I got nothing going on over here. See, I got a blank page over here. Let's see if I can get that to run a little bit. And this paper will hold right up. There we go. Got stuff going on over here, but I don't know what. Just like maybe. Wow, that's an interesting spot. That's got a lot of intensity to it right there. I'm afraid to touch it because it's pretty cool. And I, you know, as you can see, I'm not planning my next move. I'm not calculating, oh, I'm going to do this and this and this. I like the intensity of, let me look at it. This spot is really cool somehow. So I'm gonna come in there. There we go. Sometimes I don't use much water at all, but I feel like I am today. Okay. Wow. What's next? My initial response to this beginning stage of this painting is good. It's positive. Now, let's talk about what happens when you are painting and you just really don't like what you're painting. I would say, oh gosh, that happens about half the time. Maybe not half, but it really is you know, it's a hard thing. You have to keep showing up every day, and you have to keep painting, and you have to keep, you know, you kind of got to keep your mind, I would say that you have to keep your mind clear of, you know, thinking thoughts like, oh, I'm no good, or I can't paint, or that's not what I wanted to do, or so-and-so's work looks better than my work. All I can say to that is keep those thoughts at bay. The minute you start to think that, you need to turn things around and say to yourself, my painting is great. It looks wonderful. You know, those sound silly when you say them to yourself in your head. You know, my painting is great and people are gonna love it, and I'm gonna keep going, and I'm gonna, you know, make more wonderful things. And, you know, just, you have to treat yourself like you would treat your best friend. And I am not kidding one bit about that. Obviously, your best friend is your best friend for a reason. You generally think that they're a good person most of the time. You love them throughout all their stages and phases, and, you know, you have to do that for yourself. You have to love yourself while you're learning to paint. You have to love your art while it's, I'm not saying you have to give it away, and I'm not saying you have to sell it. I'm not saying it has to be perfect, but it came from you. And this is really, really important. Your self-talk is very important. So stop the comparison nonsense. And if you're following somebody but you're jealous of them, stop following them. If you're following somebody and you feel like, for whatever reason, the posts are annoying you, whether you're jealous of success, or whether they're irritating you for some reason, whether you don't like their voice, or they make you feel less than, or somehow their post or voice or painting or whatever makes you feel less than. Don't follow them. Doesn't mean that you don't want to be their friend. It doesn't mean that you don't like them. It doesn't mean anything. It means you're removing that out of the equation. And once you remove that out of the equation, boy, oh boy, do you feel better. And I know the word trigger is thrown around a lot, and a lot of people make fun of it, but there are things on social media that are triggers. There really are. You know, you could hear a video pop up on your computer. You know, people have videos and you have it set for automatic. Don't do that if you don't like how that is contributing to how you feel. How you feel is all up to you, but if something is contributing to you struggling to stay positive, then that's not for you to follow. When I first started painting, oh my gosh, I followed a million people, and I followed every single person that followed me. I followed everybody. And pretty soon I had, like, gosh, 5,000 followers. I mean 5,000 I was following. And my trips onto Instagram were not that much fun. Sometimes it's like shopping in a store for stuff you don't like. That's what it reminds me of. All right. So I am normally not inclined to leave this much weight. However, I really like kind of just scrubbing a bunch of titanium onto the white parts of this painting. Ooh, that one had a little bit of yellow in it. Got a little bit of a tinge. All right. Taking the back of my brush and just scraping through there. And I really want to make that center, there we go, more of a I don't know. Sometimes I will make something sometimes I make marks that are not my friends. So I switched to my other hand again to see if I could entice the playfulness. All right, so here's some black. I'm gonna get a little bit of it wet on a tiny brush. Oh man. There's huge potential to screw this up. Do you guys ever feel that way when you're painting? I do. But I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna screw it. Okay. So. Turning this around. Painting with this tiny brush because I can. This painting makes me want to start humming the music to The Little Mermaid. And the sad part is I want to be hearing that music in the background, and I'm using my phone, so I can't. All right, so we're almost at 30 minutes. And I feel like we're wow, this is cool. I keep turning around and looking at it on the camera because sometimes, and you guys will, if you don't already know this, sometimes your painting looks completely different when you look at it on your camera than it does when you're in front of it. And I will have to say that I am very, very close to this painting. I'm sitting in a chair. There's probably 18 inches, 16 inches between me and this painting. And that's not very far, and I haven't done the step back and look part yet, but normally I do. Normally I have it a little bit further away from me, and I am then stepping back and moving forward and all of that. So that's a whole other thing for me when I have to sit like this in front of it. So it's gonna look different. I'm looking for a white marker or pen that will not clog. I am notorious for clogging pens. Maybe it's just because I'm in a hurry most of the time. But ooh, look at that. This is just a mechanical pencil. Pack of them at the Dollar Tree, Dollar General. I think I'm going to stop and let this dry and then come back in. But overall, I really like it. Look what I have in my hand. There are some of you that are not surprised. Little tiny few pieces of yellow. All right, so I'm gonna let this dry. I'm gonna turn this off. I'm gonna post it. Let's take one more look at it the other way. that's the first layer, really, of, you know, I have parts of paper that are not even painted on yet. So anyway, there you have it. Happy Wednesday.